Aloha mai kako o wau ko Melvin kau wailehua kau piko ko inoa. I am here today to present to you our traditional poi pounding sacrament as we present this for my Indigenous MDiv program with the Vancouver School of Theology, and this course is Ceremony and Sacrament ISP 500 with instructor Adrian Jacobs. Mahalo. Aloha. Before we begin our ceremony, we would like to open up with our protocol, our Oli. So if you could please join in with me as I present this Oli to our Father to prepare us in this sacred place and in this sacred moment. Let's begin. Ho'onani kama kuama ke ki me kauane no ke akuama o mai kaipu ko ke ko ke Amen. I'd like to explain to you what we have here before we begin. Also, these items that I have here on our pakauko, which is our table, I would like to share with you the names and the reasons for them. So the first thing that we have here is called our la'i. Our la'i is also named tea leaf. And this tea leaf is going to be the source of serving, wrapping, or in a sense, it was also used as like a, saran wrap is used in our modern way. La'i is used in that same form. So this la'i will be used to present our mea'ai, which is our food for today. The next thing that we have here is our taro or our kalo. And our kalo is what will be our main staple for today, and we're going to present them in a way that you will see how it turns into a pa'iai. The next thing here is called a ku'i. A ku'i is a hard stone or a very smooth stone that is used to pound the poi or pound the kalo, which we will demonstrate today, and we're going to be providing the source for our food, our staple, our starch. To begin the process, you would want to steam or boil these kalo, and it will become tender, it will become soft. Once they become soft, it will turn into a much more softer, stabled fruit or object, so that we can easily pound it into what we will be making today. The last thing that I wanted to show you is our board. This board is in our old Hawaiian ways, or in our Polynesian style, we had no such thing as cutting board or any type of machine that could give us what we needed to feed our family. So our ancestors and our elders had decided to make a board or a flat surface of wood to that is solid, to create a indention or a dish style bowl, so that when we do our process of ku'i, it will come out perfectly fine and ready in this dish. So this is the items that we are going to be using today. And in these items that we're going to be using, you will see the significance for each. To begin with the referencing, I would like to share that W.T. Brigham described poi pounder as an implement very prominent and identified only with Polynesian people. This pohaku kui is very significant to the process of how appropriation begins in our indigenous culture. So as we begin, I will share with you the context of how indigenous poi pounding became very popular to our culture as a way of sacrament. So, mahalo.
E ke akua mahalo no, mahalo ya oi no ka ia ai, amene, amene. Aloha mai kako, it's Kahu Charles Kalpiko, and I would like to demonstrate to you our culture on how we prepare kalo in its form, its natural form, and its prepared form. So right here we have before you, this is the fruit, or we would call the root of a kalo. Kalo is poi. It's a very indigenous fruit. It's a kind of like starchy base, and it's in the ground in wet soil. There's many forms, but particularly more they're found in covered soil with a very moist surrounding. And so that's this right here. So right now I will be demonstrating to you how to make the term is pa'i'ai. Pa'i'ai is a paste for what we like to call the step before poi. Poi is a more liquidy, more runny substance. Pa'i'ai is more of a sticky paste. And what we have before us is the board, and then we have the kui, where we would mash together and smash it to where it becomes very sticky in substance. So at this time, we will grab a piece of steamed or boiled kalo, and we would basically cook this for depending how high, but I would say in boiling water, this would roughly take about an hour and 20 minutes, give or take, to get to the substance you would need to start to prepare this wonderful dish. So we just put it here, and again, the kui, we basically have a smooth, this is a blue stone or as stone that's shaped, cut into perfectly so we can grip and hold the kui. There's names that I do know that come with this tool we have here. So we would start off by just kind of smashing the and we just kind of do that. We grab some more here. Immediately, we'd always like to wet the, I should have started off with that, but wet the bottom of the kui, and we don't put too much water, but just enough to to create a little resistance so it's not sticky. As you can see, it's really sticky in its texture. So you add water.
So the fragment of the studies of the poi pounding has greatly been found all across the European world, the Polynesian world. And we have some information as far as the studies of this material. So the Hawaiian material culture have traditionally relied on artifacts that are names, descriptions that are provided in our sharing today. And the ku'i that we have here is one of the main Hawaiian poi poundings that is found from ancient time till present day.
As you can see, it gets very very dense but very sticky. So you want to kind of keep a good moisture, but not too much. And poi or pa'i'ai was a good it's what the Kanaka Maolis got their nutrition from. So they're really packed with very good vitamins, very filled with good nutrients. This would be considered a dish that prepared with regular meals.
So this ceremony or sacrament was and still is traditionally done so that the people of our families would have a great staple for their meal, for their dinner table. Most of the time when it's done in a formal setting, in a setting where like festivals, or in a setting where people gather as a event or a festivity, like a party, this is presented as the main attraction for the event. Why? Is because it causes a lot of attention. It causes a lot of audience to look and see what's being done and what is being created. But most importantly, for the poi pounder, it brings respect of what they're doing and how they're providing, and as Holy Charles are presenting them to you, it's a way for him to show his affection to the people by providing the food and providing the staple in a perfect and supplied way so that everyone can enjoy.
What we call is feeding the ohana, feeding the family. And what Kahu Melvin has shared, that's what brings joy, is when we can provide the prepare the foods ourselves with our hands and give that to our family. So this is kind of if I may say, a workout. We have to continuously get the pa'i'ai, like I said, to a consistency where we kind of match all the solid solid textures of the pa'i'ai, the poi, the kalo. And so, but this is a process, and everybody's enjoy it. It's very healthy.
The appropriation of kalo or poi pounding has grown within the last 20-25 years. The economy has used this type of tradition to create economical benefits for their industry, for their company. And you know, with what's happening in the world and what's happening with our people and our tradition, it's something that we as Polynesians, as indigenous Polynesians, are very aware of, that it's very sensitive to the sense of how things are being done, how things are being created. And as you can see, this type of delivering meals isn't something of a easy process. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes strength. So this type of meal preparation or traditional sacrament was only done for the chief's families or ali'is, and for festivities. So you can see now how it's turning into a very nicely pasty substance, and it's just about finished actually. So what he wants to do is he wants to break up all these other particles that are still, you know, hardened. They're not fully mashed up yet.
And if you can see what I mean, the consistency of it, it's like almost like putting flour and mashing it up and adding water to it. You get this kind of like tacky moisture.
So again, mahalo for joining us as we present our sacrament of poi pounding, or ku'i ka poi. We have here what Kaho Charles had made, which is the pa'i'ai. The pa'i'ai is a much more dense style of the kalo, which is this, and this is the actual poi that will be eventually from here into there. So we have our daughter here to help us to see how our poi pounding had turned out to be. So if we could take a piece and let's try it. Mai kaia. So from our land to our table and into our dinner table. We hope you enjoyed our presentation, and again, this is our Polynesian traditional indigenous poi pounding culture.
And remember, eat poi. Mahalo.